Hi, Kiwi. I hope you're ready for story time. We're finally going to read the full story and then help Rhea move forward, hopefully. I hope you're ready for more emotions. I'm not. Enjoy. I can wait for her in here. Should I wait? Yes. Let's wait. Okay. There's our space dive branch. Huh. What are these doors and these symbols? What do they mean? I think these are all the symbols from the storybook. So maybe they go in order. I guess now's as good a time as ever to read the story then, and we'll just, I guess, read the final chapter at the end. Alright then. In the deepest, darkest corner of the galaxy, there lived a star princess who called a planet of her own creation home. Now this star princess had magical, celestial powers. She could grant any wish. In a flash, she could summon the most delicious food, the most wondrous delights. All but one thing. A friend. The star princess was dreadfully lonely. She thought to herself, if only I had a friend to share this with. It was then that she decided to embark on a new journey and to make new friends. Only she grew sad at the thought of abandoning her beloved home planet. And so the Star Princess split into two entities, stellar twins. The North Star Princess glowed a brilliant blue, and her twin, the South Star Princess, a rich, warm yellow. The North stayed to tend to their home planet, and the South set off on her grand journey. Atop a fiery comet in the emptiness of the space, the South smiled brightly, alight at the thought of the new friends ahead of her. The North, in deepest quietude, felt her joy too, for their hearts were as one. The North cast her gaze upward and wished on every star in the sky. The comet fell and sparked a golden path across the sky as the South Star Princess reached her first planet. Not long after landing, she met a timid, cowering puppy. He whimpered and cried, afraid of his larger, rougher brethren. "Oh, you poor creature. I can feel that deep down you have a heart of gold," said the South. Promising the puppy her friendship, she waved her magic wand and cast a miracle, giving the puppy a magic hero sword to imbue him with the strength and courage to defend himself. It's the wrench from the were-dog stage. Suddenly, the puppy began to transform before the South's eyes. Where once there had been a cowering puppy, there now stood an arrogant were-dog. The princess's power was distorted, and the were-dog lashed out at all that stood in his way, even her. "I must leave this place. That were-dog is too dangerous." She rushed to the comet and began to leave the planet, all the while casting terrified glances over her shoulder. As she rose into the heavens, the South tried her best to swallow her fear, but from in her body and thought, far from her body and But as she rose into the heavens, the South tried her best to swallow her fear. Far from her in body and thought, the North sat with that alone, with the feeling alone. With hope still strong in the princess's heart, the comet began to fall for a second time, and she arrived at her second planet. She was greeted by a lost cygnet who, lacking in some of the grace and wit of the other swan chicks, had been abandoned by her herd. "Oh my, you poor thing, how beautiful you are." Promising her friendship, the South waved her wand and brought about a miracle, bestowing upon the cygnet a crown to grant her charisma. Before long, the little creature grew into a slender, graceful swan queen. Her fellow swans began to crown her in awe of her gentle beauty. But then something changed. The swans began to compare their new swan queen to the princess and found the latter lacking. I don't know. "Unlike our queen, she has no golden beak. Unlike our queen, her voice is timid and weak. Begone, begone! The queen has no business with the likes of you." Her eyes wet with tears, the South took her leave. She returned to the comet and then the skies. With a million planets on the horizon, the South was able to overcome her disappointment soon enough. But alone on their home planet, the North grew lonelier and lonelier. Once again, the comet began to descend, sparking a bright golden light. The South Star Princess arrived on her third planet, and it was entirely covered by a vast ocean. The South decided to dive below the surface to explore the depths, and before long met a shy snail hiding in its shell. The snail couldn't even face the comings and goings of the tide, let alone an interstellar princess. She cowered before the south. Oh no. Oh no, don't be afraid. There are so many beautiful things to see out there, the princess assured her. With the promise of friendship, she waved her magic wand and cast her miracle, showing the snail all the wonders of the universe. Sparkling stars, fish with glimmering scales swimming in endless shoals, and colorful anemones as far as the eye could see. The snail was overwhelmed and finally came out of her shell. She was fascinated by the princess's magic wand and asked how she herself might come to have such a power. The south was flattered and decided to lend the snail her magic wand. Alas, the snail became so obsessed with spreading her magic that she left the south alone in the deepest, darkest part of the ocean. Why did she leave me? She cried with the last of her strength. She swam to the surface and boarded her comet once more. As the surface faded from view, the south held back tears of joy for having made friends with her magic and the sadness for having lost them. The north, though, was adrift in an ocean of her own, and her tears fell unnoticed. So I'm gonna pause for a second and just kind of read into the story a little bit. So effectively, this is kind of just Rhea is representing all of the negative emotions just getting bottled up with Nirmala as she suffers from her social interactions not going the way they want. Eric was initially a friendly and good-hearted person, but puberty happened and he became basically a thug, violent and prone to outbursts that hurt her. Lulu was timid as well, but she eventually kind of grew into the popular sort, and the people around her pushed Nirmala away. And Marin found a love for drawing with Nirmala, but joined the drawing club, and Nirmala felt more and more that their connection was being split apart. Again, the comet began to fall with its bright golden light. The South Star Princess arrived on her final planet. It was dark, a desolate desert. Foul winds grazed her cheeks, and the only light came from within her own body. Apparently there was life on this planet, though, a single stray cat who witnessed the South's descent and was amazed by her glowing presence. It introduced itself, and the South smiled wearily. She asked if the stray had a wish that needed granting, for she had but one left to give. The cat grinned and explained to the princess,
I've lived my whole life alone and thought I would die alone too. But then Mew came, it's a miracle. But I don't need anything else. Having Mew here is enough.
At long last, the South had found a true friend in the most unlikely of places. The North, though, had long since faded away. Oh, my feline friend. If only the North Star Princess could meet you. I miss her so, she said. The cat was confused, but had no time to ask questions. Fate was not on their side. Suddenly, the ground began to shake, trees swayed and split in two, and great chasms opened up in the parched earth. The cat, innocent as it was struck with fear. The South, though, knew exactly what was happening. The cat's world was crumbling, and the planet was beyond repair. It was time. The world had ended. The whole planet would crumble into dust, and the South could do nothing to stop it.
Let's go, Princess. We aren't safe here,
said the cat. But the South couldn't move. Her power was depleting, and she knew her time was ending. All she had left was a single miracle. She looked deep into her friend's eyes, and what she saw told her all she needed to know. It was a cold night. The South Star Princess was weak, and the cat was worried. This is where the game started. This is the story where the game started.
Meow, Princess. Mew looks sick. Are Mew okay?
The cat meowed. The princess looked up at the night sky and thought, it's time to say goodbye. To leave the world... Oh, wait. It's time to say goodbye. To leave the world behind. She said, I have something for you, my dearest friend. A parting gift. I'll show you my last miracle. Something shone bright on the palm of her hand. It was the miracle. The cat was too stunned to speak and simply began to cry.
Oh, Meow Princess, please don't. I can't let Mew go.
The cat meowed. The South gave a weary smile. Everyone wanted my miracles, but you're the only one who stayed by my side. Thank you for being my friend. The night was warm and bright. The glowing South Star Princess turned into stardust and was scattered to the skies above. But her light stayed within a pretty yellow flower. Left behind and alone, the cat curled its body around it. Suddenly it was bathed in yellow light. In the blink of an eye, the ordinary cat turned into a large, regal feline with enormous wings sprouting from its back. The South's final miracle was giving her friend a way to escape the dying planet. As it flew up into the heavens, the planet disintegrated behind it. Mourning the loss of a friend and a home, the cat could do nothing but cry. The yellow flower gripped tightly and its paws began to pulse, in harmony with a distant blue star.
You miss her, of course. Let's go then, right now, to the north.
And so the cat flapped its wings and began a new adventure. So another observation that I've made, both kind of playing but never brought it up, but also especially with the replay, is a lot of the time the flowers in the space dive zone, the big flowers that fill up with blossoms as you accomplish certain tasks, there have been two, a blue one and a yellow one. And I've noticed that particularly with the ones when they fill up with the blue color, which I presume symbolizes the influence that Rhea would want, it led to the characters who got kind of corrupted. Mr. Agung, the cake chef. Those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head. I think also Mr. Shoban, or the sensei. He they all went blue, and then eventually we turned them yellow, going back for a second space dive. But it almost feels as though one or the other has a corrupting nature on whatever we space dive. The cat cut through the skies effortlessly, passing by planets and stars alike. After some time, he grew tired and decided to rest on an unassuming planet. There, it met an old frog sitting and eating cookies beside his bike. The two creatures greeted one another and they sat together to rest. Who's the frog? I'm not sure. The frog told the cat that he had spent so long searching for this bicycle for his son. Oh. Okay. It was the guy who gave us the last letter of the Yeoman N, which is why we must have gotten this after we finished the Yeoman bubblegum wrapper collection. The frog told the cat that he had spent so long searching for this bicycle for his son that he'd forgotten his way home.
Houses are built and knocked down, and the streets never stay the same for long. I can't recognize anything, he croaked.
And at that, the yellow flower in the cat's paws began to glow, illuminating a path to a house at the foot of the mountain. The frog leaped with joy.
My house! It was here all along!
They finished their snacks and parted ways with a promise that the cat would be showered in sweet treats should he ever return. With his wings lighter and more powerful than before, the cat turned to the sky and continued his journey. A few galaxies down the line, the cat once again grew tired and stopped to rest his weary wings. On landing, he heard a gentle piano melody and set out to find the source. Following his ears, he came to a small stage in the middle of a garden. Playing the piano was a tall giraffe, her brow furrowed in deep concentration. After a few verses, she looked up and was surprised to see a winged cat watching her. She invited him to play along with her, so he took up an instrument from the stage and began to accompany the melody. The giraffe explained that it had always been her dream to play in a great ensemble, but nobody ever wanted to join her. Hearing the sincerity of her wish, the flower began to glow, illuminating the entire stage with a golden light. So bright was this light that it caught the attention of the entire town. Before long, other creatures began to arrive, keen to play music with the giraffe. The sounds of a dizzying array of instruments rang out around the garden: violins, drums, tambourines, and more. The lady giraffe was over the moon. Her dream had come true, but all songs must end, including this one. The cat had rested and was ready to take flight once more. Bidding the giraffe and her new companions farewell, the cat's wings beat faster and faster until it soared into the skies, one step closer to the big blue star. The cat's adventures were not always filled with tunes and treats. Further on its journey, it was hit by a passing asteroid and had to make an emergency landing on the closest planet. Luckily, it seemed to be a safe and calm place. The cat lay down to rest and recover. One of its wings was badly wounded, putting the entire journey in jeopardy. A tiger fighter passed by and offered to tend to the cat's wounds.
Don't worry, kitten. I've had much worse and I'm still kicking.
The cat noticed that the tiger was covered in scars and asked how he had come to have them. The tiger explained that he was a martial artist and had been injured in the pursuit of wisdom and skill. The cat was amazed.
How did Mew find the strength to keep going?
He asked the tiger unanswered.
I never miss a meal.
Apparently, the secret to endurance was regular rest, food, and good company. The two felines split a meal, and before long the cat began to feel his strength returning, exactly as the tiger had said. Before long, he began to long to return to the skies, and so he bid his tiger companion a farewell, and took his leave. Turtle! The cat soared through space in awe of the sheer size of the universe. All seemed well until the yellow flower. It was gone. In utter panic, he stopped to search for it and noticed a faint golden light fading on the surface of the planet he had just passed by. Though it was dark on the planet's surface, the cat couldn't find any trace of the golden flower. A nearby turtle called him out and told him that while he was watching the night sky, something like a shooting star had fallen at the center of a nearby lake. They set off together for the lake, and the turtle explained that he was a star collector. At least he had been, until his vision got worse and made it impossible to count and record them. As they drew closer to the lake, the flower began to glow brighter and brighter. Before at last the cat was reunited with it. At that moment, the turtle cried out in surprise. The flower... Pardon me. The flower apparently still had the power to grant miracles, because suddenly his sight was completely restored. Weeping tears of joy, the turtle thanked the cat for his kindness and promised him a tour of his star collection should he ever return. With the flower tightly held in his grip once more, the cat departed for the heavens. I know who this is.
The fluffiest creature known to man.
It had been a very long time since the cat had set off on his journey through space, but he was still hopeful that one day he would reach the big blue star. Even when he was waylaid by a space storm, he simply landed somewhere and waited for it all to blow over. Little did he know that he had actually stumbled across the home of Barong, the king of all beasts. Barong was astounded by the cat's tenacity and asked why he was so sure he wanted to visit the blue star in the north if he had... Barong was astounded by the cat's tenacity and asked why he was so sure he wanted to visit the blue star in the north if he had never been there before. The cat explained the miracle that the South Star Princess had given him, and that he wanted to repay that kindness by visiting her sister and keeping her company. There is indeed a lonely soul in the north, little cat. How thoughtful of you. Oh wait, what did I give this guy? It was kind of nasally if I recall.
There is indeed a lonely soul in the north, little cat. How thoughtful of you.
At that moment, the clouds parted and the storm had passed. The golden glow from the flower in the cat's paw was met with a new light, rich and blue from the heavens. The end was in sight. The cat turned to thank Barong, but the mysterious creature was already gone. More determined than ever, the cat flew off towards the blue light. Before I read this last one, I just want to say I get the feeling that this isn't Bosk. I think this is Atma. I think the cat is Atma. But we'll see. With countless stars and planets visited, the numerous friends gained, the cat finally arrived on the big blue star. It followed the light and finally found the North Star Princess alone and locked in a prison of her own creation. Drowned in a dreadful sadness, the North used the last of her power to create an impenetrable barricade.
No, my princess, I came to see you. Please let me in.
The cat tried anything it could think of, in the hope that it could reunite the North Star with her sister's light and save her from her solitude. But it was all for nothing. It was all for naught. The North was already spent. She remained in her little world, asleep for all eternity. But there's one more page left to this book. It's not over yet. So let's travel these doors, assuming they are in order of events. Yeah, I figured. So next came Eric the Were-Dog. Then came Lulu the Swan Queen. Then came Marin the Snail. I really do appreciate how all of the events that we've lived through in this game have effectively been the story playing out. I think that's a really cool touch and a very effective means of symbolism without like hammering it in, because if you don't read the story, you don't know. And if you do read the story, it's not like it's a I wouldn't call it a one-to-one representation, but I appreciate that the final door we have to go through is the cat. I also appreciate that they only did the chapters that were... these are only the chapters. These aren't the side achievements, so you wouldn't run the risk of missing something and not knowing how to solve the door puzzle. But there we go. Those were the 5 chapters we've played through, and the prologue, I guess. And there's the staircase. I get the feeling this is our last time, so let's go see Rhea one more time. Rhea, I don't like you being missing with your windows open, but maybe you're just sitting on the... Yeah, okay, you're just sitting on the roof, that's fine. Isn't it dangerous sitting on a roof like this?
Of course not. We're not literally here, remember?
Oh, right.
But when I was a child, I loved doing this.
Sitting on a rooftop?
Yeah. It's so silent. A little space with a whole sky for myself. I always thought that I wanted to be lost up there. Being alone in those beautiful, vast cerulean landscapes.
Kind of like what happened when you turned into a cloud, I guess.
But I always come back down here. In this small, selfish town with all its people. When I look at them laughing and joyful with each other, I get so confused. Why does my chest hurt each time I see them? Why can they make those contented faces when I can't? What makes them happy? Atma, what makes you happy?
A lot of good options here. Let's see. When I pet a fluffy animal, when good music is playing, whenever I play Future Fighter, every time I find a new bottle cap, when I stroll around town, when people tell me about their days. I'm going to start when I pet the fluffy animal because, I mean, that is my answer.
They're the best, right?
Some are hard to pet, but it's worth it.
Well, the things that make you happy are surprisingly ordinary.
I know. But this little ordinary thing makes me feel alive and keep moving on each day. Life is special because of these ordinary things we see every day.
Sappy as always.
How about you then? What makes you happy?
Well, you make me happy.
Sappy.
It's the truth. But you aren't here anymore. I'm alone, and I'm scared. So I create all these places where we can spend time together. I don't have to worry about my bad grades or my messy past. There doesn't have to be sadness in this makeshift world of mine.
Are you happy now?
No. I know deep down that it's all lies. And that things that happen here aren't real. But what else is there? As soon as I'm at ease, I feel the sadness crawl higher and higher in my chest. Even now, I can't escape it. Do you ever feel sad, Atma?
Of course.
What makes you sad? What makes you sad?
What makes me sad? What are these memories? They aren't mine, but I can remember them? Would these memories help Rhea? When it rains and there's nowhere to take shelter, when the credits roll on my favorite movie, when I get on the wrong bus. I think this is the place that I would say makes me most sad. I am super sappy when it comes to movie endings, especially happy endings. Sometimes I want the movie to keep playing so I don't have to go back to reality.
I understand that feeling.
Not just that, I was sad when I decided to run away from my hometown too. And when I realized what you went through after No, the real Atma was gone, that I couldn't help you.
It was all my fault. It was all my fault. If only I hadn't tried to cross that river.
No, it's not. If we could turn back time, I'd be more responsible and not let you wander off down by the river. Or maybe I should take a swimming lesson so I could save both of us.
We should have taken swimming lessons together.
That would be fun. But we can't go back, can we? So the only choice we have is to leave it in the past. I believe the real Atma would say the same. I'm jealous.
Of what?
Of you.
You look so sure of yourself while I'm not. I feel like I'm losing myself. It's been a long time since I felt sure about myself.
And when was that?
It was when Nirmala was around. A carefree, naive girl who always stayed true to herself. You met her, right, Atma?
Yeah, I've met her, and memories of her keep coming back to me.
What did you think of her? Of Nirmala?
The weirdest storyteller, a pushy girl. I can talk about anything with her. She didn't judge and loved to involve herself with my crazy ideas.
Well, they were usually her crazy ideas too, right? That kind of creativity only happens in a space with no judgment.
A space for the unbound, you might say? I guess I can sum it up by saying that she's the best friend anyone could ask for. It's a shame that we didn't get to enough time to fully understand each other. But you've known her a lot longer than me, so how about you? What do you think of her?
She's peculiar, to put it lightly. But that's what makes her so fun to be around. She's the only one who's always... She's the one who always reassures me that it's okay to be ourselves.
Oh.
That I'm enough, just as I am. That all the failures, the loneliness, the fear, it's part of me, and it needs to be embraced.
That's what Nirmala would say?
She did. I did. We both did. We're the same person after all, but I've been avoiding her all this time. Atma.
Yeah?
I want to see Nirmala again. I have something I need to say.
She is always waiting for you, Rhea. Now I know what I should do with this. She entrusted me with it, and it's time for me to give it to its true owner.
Our old storybook. I'm afraid.
That's okay. I'm here with you. We can take this slowly. Rhea. Are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere?
I don't think so.
Come here. Let me help you. I think we may have just gotten the last chapter of the storybook. I'm curious. Alright. Let's see. That was either objective complete or new storybook chapter unlocked. Let's see. No, we haven't gotten the last chapter yet, so it was just a new objective. Okay, fair enough. Well, let's go see Nirmala. The road is going to get pretty steep from here. Can you keep it up?
Yeah, I can do it.
Good. Oh, look at that. The ground is creating itself in front of us as we walk. Say, Rhea, what are you going to do when you go back to the real world out there?
I'm not sure. I have a lot to figure out, I guess. I don't know where to start.
How about starting from your bucket list? Finish it for real this time.
That's not a bad idea. It'll be a lot of work, but it's something I need that'll give me new purpose, the start of a new adventure.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Just noticing there's like a giant tornado in the background. That's a little concerning, but I guess we're going above the clouds. Funny, this is the second game, and... Are you gonna get some Black Forest Gâteau when you're home?
Oh, that sounds good. But actually, I was thinking I might try an eclair next time.
That sounds good too. I'm just gonna briefly comment. It's funny that this is the second game that I'm playing that ends with us above the clouds. If you've been watching my Celeste playthrough, you know what I'm referring to, but I won't say any more than that. This is a really cool kind of backdrop, though. The music's very nice, and I like this game. It's been a while since I've played a point-and-click adventure. Have you decided which one you prefer between Manahati and Cyborg Raptor Returns?
Honestly, neither of them really interested me. But just sitting in the seat, staring up at the widescreen, it's enchanting.
I think I'm losing Rhea's voice a little bit and getting a little more nasally, but it's fine. If you made it this far through the playthrough, you know consistency is not something to expect from me at any point.
Ah, have you collected many bottle caps?
It doesn't really matter, I guess. Unless you want to take it over once you're home.
That's actually a great idea.
Tornado's gone. Now it looks like we're above an ocean. Is that just like water pouring down, maybe? I wonder if we're going to pass through the different layers that represent the different characters, because I could think of this as Marin's world. Oh look, the sky is cracking all over the place. Guess this fantasy is all cracking at its seams now.
Atma, it's okay if I never forget you, right?
Of course it is. I will always be with you. Man, it's been hard not to choke up on this dialogue. You know me, I'm sappy as Atma is. I'm as sappy as Atma is. The music definitely doesn't help, but keep it back. Alright, Kiwi, I'm gonna end the episode here. Only 2 episodes remain. There's been a lot to process these last few episodes, and it's hard not to get choked up. I look forward to talking about this together with you after you watch it. But with all that said, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you are awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're asleep, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.